Good morning everyone, my name is Vedika Sharma and I am a 7th grader at the Sanskar Valley School, Bhopal. The name of my project is Samjho, which is basically an app for children in institutional care. So for the past 2.5 years, I've been a regular volunteer at an orphanage named Bal Niketan, and once I had organized a healthcare camp for the children over there. And over there was a girl who came to me and said she was seeing double in both of the eyes. Nobody knew. I had arranged an online consultation with a serious ophthalmologist and sat with her throughout. Days later, she came to me and confronted in front of the warden that whatever she was saying was a lie. So at first, I actually tagged her as a liar, but then slowly and gradually I realized because maybe it wasn't because she was lying, it was because she craved attention. I mean, children in orphanages especially, they have no fallback. I mean, for example, if there's a family and there's one child, the family usually notices that the child is quieter at dinner today, something's wrong. But in an orphanage, there are so many children and it's physically impossible for the warden to know how each child is feeling. So the children cannot express what they feel at the moment. One caregiver, 60 children, the ratio is absolutely enormous, and attention seeking is not a misbehavior. It just means that they are asking to be seen. So then I came up with an app named Samjho, which has two experiences. One is the junior mode, which is for age 6 to 11. It is warm and playful. So it has large colorful Indian elements. Then you can tap to select options, some warm format, daily like fresh rotating questions and animated rewards. And then there's a senior mode, which is for students aged 12 to 11, and it is more mature, calm and peer level. So it is a more cleaner design and it does not seem kiddish at all. And then questions feel like a conversation and not an assignment. So there are 2-minute daily questions and there's a 10-minute deep session. So the 2-minute daily questions include a warm greeting, 4 visual questions, acknowledgement, and then a mascot moment, and then a goodbye. So the child shares and the warden gets to know. And there's also a caregiver dashboard which informs the warden how each child is feeling at that very moment of time. So these are the type of questions, and this is the caregiver dashboard. And then this is just an example, like this child has been consistently been having a good mood, so she has a 7-day streak. This kid on the other hand is maybe not that interactive, and this kid, her moods are consistently changing, and Ria on the other hand requires some serious help. The color red depicts that. Yes. And then Samjho knows a little about you as possible. So it understands you completely with a very little information about you. It basically collects your first name or nickname, and then there's only a first version in Thunkable with Google Firebase, and it is encrypted in transit. The version 2 will use India-based server, and it also completely satisfies the DPDBT Act 2023. And then it also includes adding and removing the children. I mean, for example, they sometimes get adopted, so they leave the orphanage. So you can also add and remove children in the app. So when they turn 18, the story belongs to them. So do they want all of their data records to be kept in the computer, or they want a fresh start, all of the information that was stored about them to be deleted? So this isn't research, this is actually what I saw. So as I told you, I first organized an immunization camp for the orphans, and then I documented everything through a personal blog. I also blog about my visits. And then I brought it to the Round Square Club in my school about the orphanages, and then I built Samjho, my own app. And then no child should go unseen on any day. Every child deserves one moment each day where something says, "Main yahan hu," which means I am there. So how are you today? Samjho makes sure that moment happens every single day. And then it is also available in 24 languages. So I'll now just give the app presentation. So these are the languages it is available in. We'll go with English for now, and for now I'll go with the senior mode. These are the type of questions, and the questions also tailor themselves according to the child's response. They're not like the same for every child. So then this is also the mood journey that we have, and then I'll just show you the caregiver dashboard. So this is the caregiver dashboard. Then I can also search my name. So this isn't today's performance. Like Vedika has consistently been having a lot of mood swings. Thus, she is in monitoring and not in stable for now. Yeah, that's all.
No, I did not understand. What are you saying? Vedika, what is your interpretation?
No.
A stable monitor
And needs care.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it.
Any questions from anybody? So let's go with her and then come to you. Yeah, please.
With this app, how does it ensure that the kids in the orphanage that are using this, how do they get attention from this? It just
They don't get attention. I mean, they don't even seek attention. I had specified this. It's just that the caregiver realizes what each child is feeling at the moment, as it is physically impossible for the warden to know without this app how each child is feeling. Like there are 60 children, for example, in a regular orphanage. So it's not exactly giving them attention. It's giving them attention, but the main problem is that they're not even seeking attention. They just want to be heard. That's it.
Nowadays, many senior children are not showing their true feelings to their families also. Then how can you expect them to show their true feelings to the warden?
Okay, so for example, let's take two cases. One child who is sad, but on the app it's appearing that that child is happy. So generally, as most of them would be teens, sometimes they don't maybe want to express their emotions. They want it personal. But this app, if they, for example, a child wants to share their emotion but isn't able to, is too shy. So this app can act as a medium to share the information to the warden. And similarly, let's take a child who is happy, for instance, but on the app it appears sad. So obviously this app isn't replacing the warden. The warden knows every child personally. So when she will talk to that child, she will automatically realize that that child is happy. So I gave you both scenarios that could possibly occur.
You said first time that one warden cannot physically talk with each one of them. Right now you said that a warden can talk with them and then know their emotions. So how is that connecting?
On the caregiver dashboard, no, I gave him a personal scenario of a child who might be happy, but on the caregiver dashboard it's appearing that the child is sad, probably because of the type of answers he gave. So of course on the caregiver dashboard that child would appear as needs care. So of course the warden would go to that child and talk. She can't talk to all children. Those who require care, she would specifically go and talk to them, and then automatically through the conversation she would realize that that child does not require any care if that child was lying.
So what I wanted to ask was, not all orphanages give each children their personal devices, and many of them don't even have electronic devices. How will they be able to use this app if they don't have any electronic devices or the internet?
So most of them, I mean, can have like computer science labs or anything where they can study, or probably the warden has her phone or device which she can give to each child to use the app.
But the same problem occurs again. Not one warden can't physically handle 60 children.
So she just needs to like give up the phone if she doesn't have the proper facility, right?
Also, many times children can't understand what they truly feel. How does the app tackle that?
Exactly. So there are like options like confused. So they can always choose such options if they do not know how they feel.
I would like to add that, let's take a teenager. He won't know that he's confused. He would feel that he's happy, but somewhere in his mind, he might feel sad. So I think a psychiatrist is better than the app, because like it's way better. Like it's ethically right.
But then can you consult psychiatrist or something? Like can you like take all of the children to the doctor? This app acts as a forum where on a daily basis you can realize, like if the child is confused, as you're saying, maybe happy or sad, whatever they want the warden to know, they can press that option.
Wouldn't this build like through this the child would not learn to open in front of anyone in the future also? They would be dependent on just a chatbot who is not responding. So they would not open to anyone or a human in future. So how would that help?
Can you please elaborate your question?
Okay, so for example, if in a small age only the children is constantly taking help of a chatbot which is not a human being, then in the future then they would not open up to a human being only. And wouldn't this be bad in future? Yeah.
But then there are already children who have had very bad pasts, and then it's actually quite hard for them to even open up to humans. So it's technically good that the first problem actually would be that they should first open up to the app itself, because they are such children who require care and aren't that easy to be handled actually, and they have more difficult paths than us.
Yeah, so let's wind up. So, okay, two last questions. Yeah. And then rest you can interact during tea break.
Yeah, so coming back to Watch's point over there, you said that the warden will give the phone to the student, right? But then isn't the whole point for the student not to interact with the warden, so then they can share their feelings alone?
Alone, like how exactly?
Meaning like the whole point of this app, I feel like, was that you don't have to interact with the warden to share your feelings, right? You can do that via an app, right? So if you get a warden to give their phone, is that just ruining the whole purpose?
I mean, the warden has, like, I mean, what do you expect? You think that this app, the warden can individually go to each child and ask how they're feeling? I mean, don't you think it's easier that you can just handle a phone and that could be passed on?
No, you mean that the kid will ask the warden that, can I have your phone? I want to input my feelings.
No, they're not going to ask. The orphanage would establish particular times where they have to do it and they will share. Yes.
Okay, so last question.
I would like to add to Vansh's point again. Let's say on a worst case, okay, so in the start, you started with that you observed a real life scenario of a kid craving attention, right? So this is not uncommon in orphanages, I believe. If one kid felt that way, it's not necessary that almost everyone takes that step that kid took, but it's almost certain that all kids in orphanages feel somewhat lonely. So on a worst case scenario, let's say your orphanage has 50 students and it has 2 wardens. Let's assume that the orphanage does not have internet connectivity, because most orphanages don't have internet connectivity or basic computer infrastructure. Do you expect that the wardens will go around handing their phones to every kid because every kid is feeling sad in some way, or the machine is telling them that they're sad?
So can you like just summarize your question in a nutshell?
Okay,
What exactly?
so basically what I'm trying to say is that how do you plan on scaling this up if the number of kids that need attention increases? So for example, right now what I feel is that you're targeting 2 to 4 kids that need critical help, right?
I mean, the app would score their mood out of 100 based on their responses. So it has no particular number that there are only going to be 4 children who would be under this category. That could be many children.
Exactly. So how do you handle those many children? Because if there's no infrastructure, if the wardens have to hand out their phones manually to one kid at once, that is a lot of redundancy.
But don't you think that every child won't really feel sad every day, right? You are saying that how would you really handle that? I mean, there would be specific number of children who would be feeling differently each day. Okay, forget the thing that paths are traumatizing, but then most of them have gotten through it. They have to forget it and they have been getting special treatments related to it in the orphanage. But then on a daily basis, wouldn't they have different mood swings? I mean, it doesn't really mean that they would always remain sad just because they lack.
Yeah, of course, I agree that not always they are sad, but let's take the worst case scenario we can take.
I think we'll have one-to-one discussion.
Okay, yeah, sure.
This taking time.
Yes.
Let's thank her.
Okay, Vedika.
We just give you suggestions. Feedback and suggestions. Don't have to defend. Go ahead.
I love the problem you taken. It's very intangible. Right? Other guys taken something tangible like barcode scanning, prescription scanning. It's more physical and tangible. But your solution is very intangible again. That's why they are all coming back with that kind of question. The same can also be solved by physical placards, physical color banners, and easy to communicate without talking kind of tools. You know, this is definitely a one way of doing it, but the same can also be achieved by putting certain colored cards where people come and show, raise. There's an unsaid way of expressing themselves, right? So that can also be a better way to aid these things, right? So that not everybody can access technology. Neither somebody at 6 years of age can even understand how to press a button even on something, most probably, in orphanage particularly. So you can look at, for something like this, something physical way of interaction where this expressions becomes easier. Okay, I think that's the point they are also trying to understand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good.